On February 11, 2026, Stellantis told 225,000 Americans to stop driving their cars. Not to schedule service, not to visit a dealer when convenient, to park the vehicle and leave it parked. The airbags in those vehicles were recalled more than a decade ago, some as far back as 2015. Replacement parts have been available since then. The owners were notified, repeatedly, for 11 years, and the cars were still on the road. 6 weeks earlier, the industry published its annual report card. In 2025, American automakers recalled 28 million vehicles across 670 campaigns. Half of those vehicles were repaired within the first year. Analysts described that rate as exceptionally high, a record. Both of these statements are true at the same time. A record year for repairs, and a stop-drive order for cars that have been dangerous since 2015. That gap is the story. Start with what a recall actually is. A manufacturer identifies a defect. It files a report with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It mails a letter to every registered owner. It offers the repair free of charge at any franchised dealer for as long as the campaign remains open. Every step in that process is a legal obligation. The manufacturer must do all of it. And then the obligation ends. No agency can compel an owner to bring the car in. No law removes an unrepaired vehicle from the road. In most American states, an open recall does not block registration, does not fail inspection, and does not appear on a title. The system is built on a single assumption, that a person who receives a letter will act on it. Recall masters analyzed roughly 4,000 campaigns over the past decade. Their finding? Long-term completion rates settle between 75 and 87%. That sounds high. Look at the other end of it. In the industry's best years, 1 in every 8 recalled vehicles is never repaired. In the weaker years, 1 in 4. Applied to a decade of campaigns, that residue accumulates. NHTSA data indicates the average completion rate across all manufacturers sits near 48%. Roughly half the recalled vehicles in America still carry the defect. The obvious explanation is that owners ignore the letters. It is partly true, and it is not the main reason. NHTSA's own research identifies the primary driver: vehicle age. Older cars have lower completion rates because owner information degrades. A recall notice is mailed to the last address in the state registration file. Cars are sold, people move, registrations lapse. A vehicle changes hands 4 times in 15 years, and the manufacturer is still writing to the first owner. The letter arrives. It is simply addressed to someone who no longer owns the car. In 2018, a man in Arizona died in a crash when the airbag in his Honda Civic ruptured. The car was a 2002 model. He had bought it used 3 months earlier. Honda states it had mailed 12 recall notices about that vehicle and attempted 20 phone calls over 4 years. Every one of them went to a previous owner. The manufacturer had done everything the law required. 12 letters, 20 calls. And the person driving the car had never heard of the recall. The second factor is time. Campaigns with long remedy timelines plateau at lower completion levels. When replacement parts take months to manufacture, owner attention fades and outreach intensity drops with it. Takata is the extreme case. 67 million inflators recalled in the United States. More than 100 million worldwide. 19 automakers, 34 brands. 28 people killed in this country, at least 400 injured. The defect does not stay constant. The propellant degrades with heat and humidity, which means an unrepaired Takata inflator becomes more dangerous every year it sits in a driveway. Now the completion numbers. When Consumer Reports reviewed the campaign's progress, The 5 lowest performing manufacturers were Mercedes-Benz at 2%, Mitsubishi at 23%, Mazda at 28%, BMW at 29%, and Fiat Chrysler at 30%. Mercedes-Benz stated it had never recorded an airbag injury or death in its vehicles, and attributed the low figure to parts scarcity and to NHTSA's prioritization of higher-risk cars. 2%. Whatever the explanation, that is the number the campaign produced. Stellantis reports a different outcome. 6.6 million inflators replaced. Roughly 95% of the vehicles it recalled. The remaining 5% is 225,000 cars. Those are the ones now under a stop-drive order. Geography concentrates the risk. Texas alone is estimated to have more than 660,000 unrepaired vehicles with Takata inflators. California, over 500,000. Heat and humidity accelerate the propellant's breakdown. The states with the most unrepaired cars are the states where the defect matures fastest. The scale of the wider problem is difficult to state precisely. Carfax has estimated more than 36 million vehicles on American roads with at least one incomplete recall repair. Different sources produce different figures depending on how they count. What the sources agree on is the direction. The number is measured in tens of millions, and it does not go down. The reason it does not go down is that new campaigns arrive faster than old ones close. For most of the last decade, more vehicles were recalled each year than were sold new. The backlog is not a failure of one campaign. It is the arithmetic of the system. Something changed in 2025, and it complicates the picture. Software defects became the largest single category. 119 campaigns, covering 8.19 million vehicles. A software recall can be delivered over the air. No dealer visit, no appointment, no parts inventory. The car updates itself overnight in the owner's driveway. That is part of why the first-year rate reached 50.3%. Not because more people acted, because for some vehicles, no action was required. The distinction matters. Over-the-air capability is not universal. A Jeep Grand Cherokee module reflash requires a technician and most of an afternoon. Hyundai's camera software update requires an appointment. Nissan's display patch requires an appointment. For every vehicle that patches itself, there are hundreds of thousands whose owners must take a weekday off, drive to a dealership, and wait 3 hours to fix a defect they cannot see. A meaningful share of them will not go. So the headline improvement is real, and it measures something narrower than it appears. The vehicles that can be repaired without human effort are being repaired. The vehicles that require a person to act are still waiting. Which brings the question back to the stop-drive order. A stop-drive directive is the last instrument a manufacturer has. It is not a recall. It is an admission that the recall did not work. Stellantis had spent 11 years contacting these owners. Letters, calls, digital notices. 6.6 million repairs completed. And at the end of it, 225,000 vehicles remained, in cars built between 2003 and 2016, carrying inflators that grow more unstable each summer. The company's remaining option was to publish a list of models and ask people to stop using them. Not to fix the cars, to ask the owners to stop driving them. There is one action available to anyone watching this. NHTSA maintains a public database. A 17-character VIN returns every open recall on any vehicle in seconds at no cost. It is the only step in the entire process that does not depend on a letter reaching the right address. The recall system was designed to find defective cars. It was never designed to find their owners. Machine and myth. Look under the steel.